So good morning, one and all present here. This is Senthil Kumar from School of Computer Science Engineering and Information System, and I belong to Department of Computer Application. And I thank the HOD, Dr. Vanitha ma'am, and the circumference coordinator, Dr. Jayalashmi ma'am, for giving this opportunity to talk on the topic tips for writing a research paper. And the agenda of this seminar is achieving how to achieve academic excellence and why set conference particularly, and how the student has to choose a research topic, what are the research domains available for carrying out the research, what are the prominent data set they can look for, and after that finally we will be giving an idea about how to publish your paper. For that, what are the key elements to consider for the publication, and then we'll take up your question and answer. Before I go and talk about the set conference, because this seminar is majorly on set conference, because many of the new students have been here, they don't know what is set conference and what is writing a research paper, how to proceed on that, how to select the guide, how to select a problem. Many students have a problem in taking the topic itself. So we will cover elaborately on that part. And before I go and talk about set conference, I want to give an idea about what is PG program all about. You have to have a clarity on what is undergraduate and what is postgraduate, and why you are studying MCA, what is the need of studying in MCA, after MCA what is the prospect you have. So that is the aspect I am going to discuss in this seminar. And for achieving academic excellence, our department has providing enough opportunities. There are plenty of opportunities is being given for you to enhance your potential, and you can increase your caliber in many ways. The first one is turn activity. So if you register for this semester, let's say you have registered for 5 courses. Out of 5 courses, there may be at least 1 or 2 hackathons. So hackathon is a venue where you can exhibit your talent. The faculty and the faculty coordinator will pitch for a problem, and you have to work for the day completely in an auditorium or in a small classroom or in any gallery where you have to solve the problem. So we will be giving enough ambience, resources, and the resource person as well. So in this case, the students has the ability to understand the concepts clearly, and you can come up with a problem and you can come up with a solution, appropriate solution. Likewise, we are arranging guest lectures for each and every course. There is a guest lecture. So the industry people will come over there and talk about how the particular subject has been taken. Ma'am, am I audible? Okay, so the guest lecture will be arranged for all the courses, and the industry people will come and talk about how the particular subject has been dealt in their company and what is the project they are doing on that. So you will get enough exposure. Similarly, you can do any innovative projects for the course. So it is most welcome. The faculty members will encourage you to do many projects which will increase your understanding on the concepts. Finally, if it is possible, we will take the students to industry, and you can get an enough understanding of the companies as well as what's the project they are doing, and you can get many inputs from them. So these are all the basic things that we have been doing. But when it comes to PG program, it is that we need to carry out the research. If it is an undergraduate, when you go for a placement, there they will be asking about what sort of project you have been done for the 3 years. If it is an engineering program, they will mainly asking about what sort of design you have done, what sort of protocol or prototype you have been framed out, or what is the outcome of your project. So that is a question will be majorly asked to an engineering graduate or an undergraduate students. But when it comes to a postgraduate student, particularly for MCA and MTech, in this case, they will be asking you how many research paper you have published, what is your research scope, what sort of research you have been carried out for the last 2 years, and how much of publication you have, what are the conferences you have attended. And this is a major questionnaire if you go for any placement or for any other research activities in future. So this is very, very important. Set conference is very, very important. To meet out those requirements, our university itself is organizing a conference. Instead of asking students to go out somewhere else, that is also we are encouraging. It is not that we are stopping the students to go out to some other conference, attending some other conference. We are also allowing the students, it is most welcome. If it is of a standard and very popular, it is called IEEE or ACM based on conferences, we mostly encourage students to go and attend those conferences, not an issue. But to meet out the basic requirement of the postgraduate student, what we are doing is we are organizing a set conference. And luckily this semester for you, our SCO school is itself is organizing a set conference. Our school itself is organizing the set conference, so we have enough exposure. So we will be giving you enough inputs, and the idea of having a set conference is to make the students to understand how to carry out their research, how to write a research paper, how to choose a problem, how to enhance the solution for the problem. These are the things we are going to do in the set conference. For that, the basic thing that I'm going to explain now, later we'll go for the further analysis of how the conference will be taking further. And for set conference, every semester, that is for the first 2 semesters in particular, you have to present your research paper in the set conference. Then for that, you have to identify a guide as an idea about what is a research topic and what is a research domain. So the research domains are, these are the research domains we have: big data analytics, cloud computing, networking, blockchain technology, machine learning, data science, natural language processing, image processing. Like this, there are many domains available in computer science. Now you have to look at which domain you are very much interested in. Let's say if you are interested in NLP, then you have to go through a lot of algorithms in it. What are all the data sets available? What are all the cases already done? What sort of application it has been majorly used, and who has been using it, and where are the major laboratories available? You have to have a clear and comprehensive idea about all the resources available for natural language processing. Similarly, if you go for cloud computing, then you have to understand what are all the type of clouds available. What is meant by load balancing? For load balancing, what is security? If it is a security, who is giving security? What sort of security and security threat will be available? If it is a vulnerability, how the vulnerability can be cut shorted? You have to have a clear idea. So you can not only take the research domains. Let's say if you are interested in cloud computing, yes, I'm interested in cloud computing, sir. I'm very much expert in it. That is one aspect. You understand the concepts. That is one aspect of it. But problem is when it comes to research, what is the subject that you have studied? That will not help you in any way in taking the research. Research is completely different aspect, a different perspective. You have, so if it is the cloud computing, if you're taking any problem on cloud computing, the first point is you have to follow the researchers. So what they have done and what's the problem they have been solving and how they solve it. Further, what sort of data set they have taken and from where they have taken it. So you have to have a comparative analysis of all the problems. You cannot straight away go and take a research problem. That is not possible. That is why we urge the students to meet the guide regularly. If you are not meeting the guide regularly, you will not get any update. The first and foremost thing that you have to do is please have a good discussion with your guide. For the next 1 week, go and meet your guide. Let them explain what is your interest. Suppose if you are interested in NLP, let them know that what is your interest in NLP, what are the things you can do on NLP, and what's the kind of imagination you have on your NLP, and let them know what was the work you have done for your undergraduate project, so that they can get an idea what is your interest and which language you are comfortable with, and they will give an idea for that. They will give a research problem according to that your interest. So please fit into the domain. Suppose if you are interested in machine learning, please let the guide know about it. Likewise, what is your domain? You have to identify initially. Without knowing your interest, you cannot write a research paper. The very first thing is you have to know your research. For some people have no idea because these are the things not there in your undergraduate. You have not studied NLP in your undergraduate, BSc or BCA. You have not studied blockchain technology or machine learning in your undergraduate. These are all something new. So if you have no idea, but you have some interest on some of the topics, things like, sir, I want to develop something like ChatGPT, or I want to develop image processing kind of thing. I want to identify the images, or I want to control the traffic signals. Something like that, if you want to say, then you are, if it is of related to maintaining and managing the traffics, then it is related to what? IoT kind of projects. Suppose if you want to develop anything like reviews and sentiment analysis, then it is called what? NLP. Like that, if you have any interest, but you have not studied any of these subjects, not an issue for us. Please go and meet your guide. They will give a research problem to you. And if it is satisfied for you, if you are interested in the problem, please take it forward. Otherwise, please inform the guides of this topic I am not comfortable with, and these are the things I may look for, and please give a topic related to that. Then your guide will customize the topic and give you a suitable problem to you so that you can take it forward. For the first semester, what we are urging the student is please do a complete literature review. Without having a complete literature review, what was the thing done, who was done it, how it was done, what's the mechanism they have followed, what sort of algorithm they have been used to solve the problem. If you are not have an idea about all these things, then you cannot write a new problem, or you cannot write a conference paper or a research paper. It is not possible. Particularly the first year students I'm talking about for the first semester, don't think that writing a paper for a research conference is not a big deal. It's not a big question actually. It is so easy. Thing is that if you are following your guide and have a proper literature understanding, everything will fall in place for you. That is very sure. So first and foremost thing is meet your guide for getting a topic. After getting the topic, then go for a research problem. In the topic, what is a research problem? I can take it forward. So there is a long gap you have to take. Selecting a research topic is one point, but for selecting a research problem, at least you have to have minimum of 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Because you're all first year, first semester, this is the first time you're writing for a research conference. Without reading the research paper, without going through the problems and the topics of the research paper, you cannot come up with a new problem. So we urge students to go for a literature review of the topic that you have taken, and then you can give a proper title. Now initially, that is 21 to 25, that is up to last week, you have a time to go for what? Set conference registration. So any one student in a group can go and do the registration. Here you are given a title. That's fine, not a problem. You can given a title, and once you are given the title, you can change your title before the first review. That is called what? You have time, enough time to change your title. The changing of title can be done only through your guide. You cannot do that. Got the point? Please, the change of title can be done in due accordance to your guide. Your guide has to approve that, and guide has to acknowledge that this is the title the student is going to carry forward, and then he has to approve it. That information has to be passed to the circumference coordinator, that is Jayalakshmi ma'am here. So Jayalakshmi ma'am note down the research update and they will do that. So there are certain time limit for you to change your title. We allow it because we know the difficulty of the student and we understand the problem. That is, you are new to this university, many of the students are new to the university, and most of the students are very new to research. So in this case, we give enough time for the students to customize your topic. But you cannot change the domain. Please understand the thing. You cannot change the research domain. Say I researched for big data, sir, but I want to change it to artificial intelligence. That is not possible. But in some extent, with some permission from HOD and all the things, it is being done. But we are not encouraging that. That is why what I am asking is, please meet your guide this week. Have a good discussion with them. Understand what is suitable for you. And if it is interested, then take the topic and then go and read the papers related to the topic. And finally, which one is very interested? Let's say for this one, like cloud computing is concerned, there are many problems available. Load balancing is the one. Servicing is the one. Then security is the one. So which one you are good at? If it is servicing, if it is security, what sort of security you can go for? How the securities can be curtailed? If it's a vulnerability, what sort of vulnerability may happen in the cloud? How I can mitigate the vulnerabilities in the service provider? So that kind of analysis you have to have. For that only I'm informing you have to read at least 20 to 25 papers, research papers. The problem here is that, sir, I cannot read a book. I'm a student. Just now I joined MCA. How can I read 20 papers in a short period of time? Means, please understand, reading a research paper is very easy. We are not asking you to read the entire paper. We ask you to read the abstract, then introduction, then straight away go to the data set they are used. What is the algorithm they have taken? You just note down only this. The abstract is only one paragraph. Oddly, it is of only 200 to 250 words, and some of the IEEE journals, it is of 150 words only. So you can read the abstract in just 5 minutes, and introduction may be 1.5 pages or 1 pages in many of the journals. So you just understand what the topic is all about. If you read the abstract, and then if you understand the introduction of part of the particular problem, and then straight away go to the research methodology where the proposed methodology in the paper, you just see, don't go through the entire content. You just see what is the algorithm they have followed. You just make a note of it and see what is the data set they have taken for considering the analysis. That you have to take it and take a notebook and write it. Or if you have a Word document or notepad, if you have convenience working digitally, yes, please take a Word document or notepad. Write the number 1, research paper 1. What is the title? Then what is the introduction all about? What is the method they followed? What is the data set they used? And how the algorithm has been used in it? Or what sort of algorithm? You just mentioned the name of the algorithm. Like that, if you read per day one paper, then hardly in 2 weeks you may get at least 10 to 15 papers you can read. So you can take Saturday, Sunday off, not an issue. Then hardly 10 days is there. So in 10 days you can read 10 papers. If you consider one paper per day, then 10 days you will get an idea. So then you just go and meet your guide, then find the research problem. Identify the research problem. This is a way you have to go. So it is not that we are making so much of complication here. This is an easy way. Why we are urging the students to go and write a research paper? Because for a PG student, what is mandatory is publication is very, very mandatory. When you go for a job, that time they will not ask you what sort of project you have done. They will ask you what sort of research you have done. What is the publication level? In what are the conference you have published? So what is the research aspect? That is a question they will ask. So if you have a good and comprehensive build-up of your research, then what would happen is when you go for any interview, that time you can crack the interview very easily because your profile speaks a lot. Instead of you speaking, your profile, your CV, your resume speaks a lot. So that is why we are urging the students to go for publications. And this time, what our school, as I said already, our school, School of Computer Science Engineering and Information System, is going to host a such conference. So we have a plan to publish your conference paper in a reputed journal. That is also in plan. So you have enough opportunity. You are not only publishing a paper in a conference, set conference, and also once you publish your paper in set conference, that paper can be considered for journal publication as well. So 2 in 1 year. That is why we are urging the students to select the right topic. When you choosing a topic, please ensure that you are very much interested in the topic. Otherwise, don't go for. So, then that, what is the next aspect? You have to choose the data set. So, what is the data set here? Where I can download the data set? What are all the options I have to download the data set? For that, the top 5 resources we have for download the data set is you can get most of the data from Kaggle or from Amazon, AWS datasets, or data.go.in is there. There, almost many of the datasets are available in data.go.in. So what is the kind of data set I'm going to look for? Let's say if you're going to analyze a customer review, or you're going to download data set related to political campaigns, or you're going to download any tweets related to healthcare, or any sarcastic comments posted by the politician or by any customer review on the product, or agricultural defects, infectious plant disease detection. What is the data set that you want? Yes, all the data set can be downloaded from data.go.in or mostly from Kaggle. So what is your interest? Nowadays, what happened after COVID-19, many of the research direction has been turned towards healthcare. Yes, that is happening. So getting a paper published in a reputed journal is easy if you have a healthcare domain. But it is not that healthcare means only I can go with machine learning. Not a case here. You can use healthcare data for artificial intelligence, or you can use healthcare data for IoT, or you can use healthcare data for machine learning or big data analytics. Which one you want, you can fit in. The data set is common. Now it is where the novelty comes in. See, people have used healthcare data set only for machine learning. Let's assume nobody has used healthcare data set for IoT. Now you can take the problem. How IoT can be used for healthcare data set? How blockchain technology can be used for healthcare data set? Or how blockchain technology can be used for securing the values? So like this, you can have a diverse understanding and diverse management of the research problem. If you have done that, it is easy for you to get the paper published in any Q1 journals, reputed journals, right? So that is one idea. So downloading a data set is very, very important. One, mostly I give what is a data set. There is a difference, right? Data set means what? It is a huge amount of data with so much of parameter features. Now you have to understand which feature in the data set is helpful for my research. So I'm solving the problem. That you have to identify. That is called what? Feature selection, and your guide will let you know how to download the data set, what is the size of the data set. These are the things to be considered. If you are taking only less number of data in the data set, then you cannot go for what? Research. Minimum of at least, if you take tweets, if you want to go for customer review or product sentiment analysis, if this is the case, at least you have to have 10,000 reviews of the customer minimum. right? I'm taking only 100 customers, sir, and for that 100 customer data, I'm going to say that he has given positive feedback and negative feedback. That is not a case here. If you're taking only less number of data set, the values of the data set, that is not be considered for what? Any kind of prediction, because you're not going to predict correctly over there. Because the prediction is going to be very much biased. Why? Because the data that you have taken is very, very small. We have to go for a large sample. So that is why if you go for Kaggle, AWS, data.geo.in, or UC machine learning repository or World Bank data set, here we have enormous data sets with huge size, large size, and you can download it. These are free of cost. You can download it and then customize it for your convenience, and then you can fit the right algorithm to it, and then you can execute the code and then finish your paper. Right, conference paper. That is a major aim. So this is what we are going to depict here. First one, you have to identify the topic, then you identify the research problem, and then choose the right data set. Once you chosen the right data set, the next idea is to analyze the data. Here where you have to fit in the right algorithm. What is the algorithm that you have taken for considering to solve the data set, to manage the data set, and to find solution for the problem in the data set. This is a major case. Here we have to find the right algorithm. If it's a machine learning algorithm, whether I can take for linear regression or support vector machine or LDA, what's the algorithm you are taking for it to solve the problem? That you have to do it. And now I urge the students, instead of taking and using the data set for only one algorithm, you can go for more than one or two algorithm and have a comparative analysis. Because when I say for accuracy, you cannot claim accuracy of your project simply by your algorithm is doing this kind of stuff. We have to have a benchmarking. Yes, when I compare to SVM and linear regression, yes, the CNN algorithm, the convolutional neural network algorithm, CNN algorithm is performing better because your accuracy rate is increased when I compare to SVM and linear regression. Likewise, you have to have a proper grounding. You have to have a proper brace to explain that how it has increased. A small percentage, say, let's say I am taking a data set. The data set using SVM, it has a given accuracy of 75.6. And you have taken a new algorithm, a modified, enhanced algorithm using CNN. And when I use a CNN algorithm, it has given 75.68. It's an increase. Please understand it. Just 0.2% increase in accuracy is an increase in research. Please understand it. Don't think that your research has to be a big rocket science kind of thing. Not like that. A little bit of change in accuracy is a big deal in research process. So that you have to consider. So you have to know how to execute the algorithm. What is the language you have to use for it? That's the things for consideration. So I think many of you have learned Python, and in this semester you're going to learn about OOPS and the Java concepts. So this will help you a lot in executing the data set and fit the right algorithm for it and process the data set. So this is where many of the cases will happen. So you have to have a proper thing in it, and then once you have done that, now you have a data set, you have a problem, and you have a algorithm, right algorithm to solve the problem, and then you got the accuracy as well. Once you get the output, now what you do is you have to start writing a research paper straight away. For writing a research paper, what is very important is, as many students, they can speak well, but they cannot write a good English. Yes, there is a problem. Understand it. Some people are good in writing, but they will not speak. Yes, there is also a problem. But when it comes to research, you have to write. So writing will not come that easily. So you have to start practicing it. You just write your paper and show it to your guide, and surely your guide will correct it and modify the paper and give it back to you. So this is how you have to proceed. Please, that is why I am urging again and again, reinforcing the same statement again and again. Meeting your guide, getting the opinion and comments and suggestions from guide is very much encouraged, and it is mandatory too. If you are not meeting your guide, finally what would say is, I don't know how to carry out the research. Weekly once, please meet your guide and write some content in it after 1 month. Don't do it now itself, because this is the time for next 2 weeks. Your time is on reading a research papers related to the topic that you have selected, and then meet your guide, get the problem and get the data set, choose algorithm, and once you get the output for the algorithm, then you can discuss with your guide how to write the research paper, and then you have to write the research aspect of it. So go one by one. When you go for writing, you have to go for what? Abstract. I will tell you that aspect as well. That is, when I go for writing, first one, what is the thing that you have to support? For the introduction, you have to write why you have taken this research problem, what is the research problem that you have highlighted, and why it is so significant. That part you have to be highlighted in the introduction part. As said in the literature survey, here, what are all the readings that you had? What are the observed things that you have noted in a notepad? Please expand it in the literature survey. Minimum you have to go for what? 7 to 10 review, literature review. You have to cite it accordingly. So citation is very, very important. You have to cite the paper and from which source and which paper and from which conference and which book and which journal and which magazine and which website you have referred. All the things has to be included in the literature review. Suppose if you are going for any statistics, it is given in say some website, then you have to cite that website as well. I have taken this information from this website, or I referred this content from this conference. So all the things has to be cited properly in the literature review. So the literature review is a one to substantiate that you have done enough research grounding and you have read many papers and you have gathered all the necessary information for this problem. So whoever is reading your paper or conference paper, they know about your research by knowing the literature review. Without literature review, you cannot argue that my model is the best model. You cannot claim that because somebody may have done it already. You are not aware of it. So you have to cite what are all the works that has been done related to a problem already and who has done that and what was their accuracy level and what's the problem in their research. That research and research findings and gaps should be highlighted in the literature review. That is very, very important. So you have to cite it. I am going to demonstrate it later. And once you have done that, then you can come for methodology. So in the methodology, as I inform, what is the data set that you have taken? Then what is the size of the data set? What is the algorithm you have taken? And how this algorithm has been enhanced or the algorithm has been modified or the algorithm has been fine-tuned or the algorithm has been slightly updated. You cannot take the same algorithm. Say, let's say SVM is a support vector machine is an algorithm. Decision tree is an algorithm. Logistic regression is an algorithm. CNN, RNN are the algorithms. You cannot take those algorithms as such and you cannot use the same algorithm for executing the data set. That is a violation. What sort of changes you made in the algorithm? Any little bit of change. Suppose somebody has taken the parameters are 2 parameters for considering the accuracy and you are taking 3 parameters for increasing accuracy. That is a change. Parameter in the sense that what? Suppose many of you know, not aware of what is a parameter I'm talking about here. Let's say if I download a data set, there are 10 columns, right? Let's say for customer review, they have taken that customer review, what time he has given the review, which social media has given the review, and then what about the review process, all things have been given 10. So in this case, somebody has taken only the content, that is a review content, whether the content is good or bad. Somebody may have taken even the time, because at what time he has given the comment, daytime, night time, or period of time, that is called what, during festive season, or what is the thing. So what is the parameter you have selected for analysis is very, very important. Those are the things you have to discuss in the methodology. So what is the algorithm you have taken for this problem to solve, and what is the data set you have downloaded for this problem to process, and how the parameters or the features or the extraction process has been changed in your design. And those things has to be highlighted in the methodology. That is called what? Research methodology or the proposed methodology. So the term you have to go for is simply you can go for research methodology or the proposed methodology or the any specific domain methodology that you can go for. That is these are things you have to highlight in the methodology. So 1 page for introduction, 1.5 page, or at least as I said already, you have to cite at least 7 or 8 reference papers in the literature review. So it will take around, if every paper takes 1 paragraph or 4 or 5 lines, it will alone 7 means what? It will take more than 1.5 pages for literature review itself. Then when it comes to methodology, you are going to describe about what is the algorithm you've taken for solving this problem. Then what is the data set you have taken, from where you have taken, what is the size of the data set, and how is the processing of the data set has been happening in the project, and what sort of changes were made in the algorithm, and that change, how it is going to be affected and implement that process, and what sort of accuracy is going to be increased. Those things you can explain over here. That is called what methodology, the analysis part, complete analysis part. Then finally you come for what result. In the result, you are going to talk about only about the accuracy level. Accuracy level. You are not talking about your project or your algorithm accuracy level. You are going to compare the accuracy of your algorithm with the previous algorithms. As I said already, your algorithm has been fine-tuned, modified, or updated, or fine-tuned in some extent. Then, if I done this, this sort of accuracy has been done. If you have not done this, then the accuracy level is this. If I use this algorithm, accuracy level is this. If they use my algorithm for the particular data set, the accuracy level is this. So some gradual increase or some consistently increased in the result or accuracy is a major novelty in a research work. That is what you have to highlight in the result. So what sort of interpretation you are making, what sort of findings you have been observed, and how you are going to finally come to a conclusion that your project is dealing the problem so well. Well, in the sense that what? A minor increase in accuracy, a slight increase in accuracy or precision is a major study. That is what you have to go for. Now, some people may wonder, sir, how I am going to do all this stuff? Because I am not good in Python, I am not good in this one, Java or something else, but I cannot go for all the dataset analysis and process. No problem. What you can do is, you can compare 3 or more works, what has been done already and what is your perspective. Suppose somebody is not going to do or implement anything new. So in this case, research is so convenient. That's what I'm saying. It is not a big deal for the students and completely immersed in research. We are not asking you to completely immerse in research and do the research activity for the conference. We are not asking you to do like that. Take a little bit of time every day and work on it. That's all. That is enough. If some students are saying that, sir, I'm not good in programming, sir, no problem. That is not an issue here. What you can do for research? Yes, you can just go for hypothesis. You can ask question to the work that has been done by the other researcher. You can just ask question, or you can simply give an hypothesis. Hypothesis is not. If it is this, this may also be like this. You can also give an hypothesis. It cannot be any. There cannot be any accuracy. Your assumption, your ideas, your findings, your imagination on the particular problem, all the things can be supported in the result. If you have not done any implementation really, not an issue, sir. Please understand. It is not a big deal. We are not looking for that. This not we means what? Not me or the university or the HOD or anybody. Even the publication is also not expecting that. If there is any hypothesis, any other small observation that you have observed in some of the other research work, yes, you can highlight over there. For that, what you do? You have to take the data set, algorithms, and all the researches, what they have done for those algorithms and data set. If you have a proper understanding of this, and then when you compare 3 algorithms for the same data set, if I use SVM for the data set of 1, a second algorithm for data set of 1, third algorithm for data set 1, by applying all these 3 algorithms, which one is giving accuracy, why it is giving accuracy, if I change this one, accuracy may be increased. Your assumption you can also be given over there. So, usually it has to be implemented. But suppose if your assumption and your hypothesis is right, theoretically, not practically. Practically means that you go forward implementation. That is the right way to go. That's the right path to deal the problem. But some cases what happens is, say, initially just Chandrayaan landed in Mars. Chandrayaan 3 landed in Mars now. Or what is the prospect of it? What was the previous case? Why it was failed? They think that what may went wrong. If I want to go there, what are the steps I can take? But they have not went there. They just imagine. They had a hypothesis view. That is called very important. That is called what in research we call a big hypothesis, a relative hypothesis. That also you can consider. But these are all things you cannot take on your own. You have to have a proper discussion with your guide. That is the only solution. So guide will help you a lot in this fashion. And then discussion, if it is required, yes, you can go for the discussion, because in the discussion what they're going to do is they have a comparative analysis. Suppose you are giving it the result itself, not a problem, and finally you have to conclude the paper. What is being done in this research and who is going to be benefited, what sort of accuracy you have made in the paper. That's all, nothing else. The conclusion can be just a paragraph, 5 to 6 lines is enough. What is this work? What is the finding where? And who is going to be benefited? It is a contribution to the field. Who is going to be benefited? And what is the application of it? That's all. Suppose if there is any future scope or any future enhancement for this project, suppose something you have done, but some still many more things to be done for this project, that you can put it in a future enhancement. That is called future research. You are recommending others to follow the research to enhance research work. That is also possible. If you have any idea, still it is not been implemented, that you can go for. You can go for next semester also, right? That is again the references. It has to be given minimum. When I go for the references for the conference paper, minimum of 25 to 30 reference paper has to be included. Minimum. This is mandatory. Minimum of 25 to 30 reference paper should be included with the conference paper. If it's a research paper, you have to go above 50. So when you download the research paper, how you are going to download the research paper? That's question number 1. Question number 1 is how you are going to research the download paper. What sort of research paper you are going to download? Question number 2. Which year you are going to consider for downloading the question paper? That is a research paper. That is question number 3. First one, what sort of research paper you are going to download? Later the domain. Suppose if you are interested in NLP, then you have to download the paper, let it be NLP. Second, which year? Which year paper you are going to download? Please try to download recent papers. Recent. Say this is year 2023. Then download papers related to 2023, 22, 21. Compare the research work that has been done for the field for the last 4 or 5 years, and also you have to refer the paper. Let's say there is a problem, security. Then you have to download the paper when the security aspect for the particular problem has been initiated. That paper also you have to highlight in the paper. Suppose it was published in the year 1946 or 1965, and there was a paper, and you want to refer the paper in the conference paper. Yes, please do that. Then there is a huge prospect. There is an advantage of your research paper in the conference. Clear? So you have to compare the research work of last 4 or 5 years, and then for the problem that has been pitched in the paper, if the problem has been discussed long back initially, that's a grounding of the paper, the base paper, and if it is on 1972 or 1980 or 1990 or 2000 or 2010, whatever it may be, you can also cite those paper in your reference. So selecting a reference paper is very important. And also, which type of research paper you have to download? Mostly, if it is a conference, you can refer a standard, most popular, and the significantly enabled in society, like IEEE or ACM based conferences. Please refer those conference papers. And if you are downloading any research paper, please refer the research papers from Science Direct, elsewhere, IEEE. Like that, there are some standard. So if you are downloading the paper from these sources, what would happen is you will get a clear idea what the project was, what the paper was, what the author was doing in the paper, where the algorithm has been fit in. You will get a clear idea. If you are not aware of the publication details, where it is getting published prominently or prevalently, then you may mess up somewhere. So please discuss with your guide. Your guide will tell you where to approach for the particular problem, because I am not an expert in all the field, because this is a general discussion, because I cannot take a single one and point out to that. Others may confuse. So here we are giving a general idea about how to download the paper. So for downloading a paper, for next 2 weeks, your task is to download the research paper for the topic that you are interested in, read the paper, make a note of the paper, and then meet your guide, discuss with your guide, select the topic, and then choose a data set. And then what was the algorithm used for those data set, please try to implement it in the programming language and get the output, compare the accuracy of the output, and see that is there any dramatic change or significant change or minor change in the accuracy of the project. If it is there, please start writing the paper. So for For writing a paper, as I said, there are many things in it. For writing a research paper, there are many things to be considered. One is the ethical issue. As I informed already, the ethical issue is a major concern for writing a research paper. So, as I observed already, as I informed already, plagiarism is a very important thing because you cannot copy a content from somewhere directly. You cannot copy it. And if you are copying the paper, you cannot copy the entire content. You cannot copy the entire sentence as such. Only the statistics, the figures, counts can be taken as such. Let's say in 2022, the population was some number. Let's say for India, it is 100.5 crores for India. Now, for that, I cannot change it 100.6 or 110, something like that. I cannot change it. You have to say that it was 100.5 crores. It was as cited as per the governmentofindia.com, the website. You have to cite it as such. The numbers you can take, but you cannot copy the entire sentence given in the website or the paper and put it in the paper. You cannot do that. That's what I'm saying. So plagiarism is very, very serious concern in writing a paper, and there should not be any conflict of interest. Interest in the sense that what? There should not be any no one should argue that this is my paper, this is my sentence, this is my figure, my paper figure has been copied by this person. That should not be there. There should not be any conflict of interest on the ground. And then data fabrication, as I said, the fabrication means what? Somebody has written something and you just changed it. As you all know, there are many tools to change the content. That should not happen, sir. Please understand. You cannot take the content, give it to a tool, the tool will change it, or you modify the content and give it again in your paper. That is not encouraged. That is not, these are ethical issues. And you publish a paper in a conference or a journal, the same paper you cannot go for other journal. Once it is published, that's all. You cannot use the paper for some other publication. That is called duplicate publication. An author dispute, if there are 3 students here, you should not have any conflict of interest with one another. There should not be author's dispute. Very clear. Suppose I am a first author, you are second author, and the other one third author, means it is completely exactly go on the same way. Please don't change it. Later, no one can claim that I was written the paper completely, but this person was the first one. That should not be the case. You have to have a proper agreement and put the names accordingly. After that, it should not change. Likewise, submission irregularities. Suppose there is a deadline given. For circumference also, I'm going to show next what are the deadlines we have given for that. So you have to follow the deadline correctly. Say 15th October is the last day to submit your photocopy paper or draft paper. Means what? Before the deadline, you have to upload the updated version of your paper. Otherwise, it will not be considered. In a journal, in a circumference, we may get an excuse. But in the journal, it is not a case. It will not be enabled. So your paper will not be considered for evaluation because of delay. So submission irregularity should not be there. These are some of the ethical issues that you need to follow. And for getting any help for research, you can use these dashboards and forums. GitHub is there, Quora is there, and Hacker Earth is there. Many people are, I think many people are aware of all of this. Please go to these dashboards and forums, get involved with other people across the globe. Let's see what's their interest. Discuss with them, share with them. During your free time, please see their posts and comments, what was happening for the problem that you have taken. It is not that if you are taking a research paper, studying the research paper and going through the research paper, that alone is sufficient. Not like that. You have to go through these forums, see there are many experts are there, many freelance writers are there, many domain specialists are there. You can ask questions directly to them. If you are following them, yes, you can ask questions to them, and if they are interested, they can share their opinion to your problem also. So these are second guide, I think I would say. These forums and dashboards and forums are the second guide. If you have any problem, no need to discuss with your guide always. Yes, you can pitch your problem in the dashboard or in any of the forums like Slashdot or DZone. There are many experts available and they will share their opinion for the problem that you have pitched. So these are cases you have to take out. And there are many codes available in GitHub. Predefined codes are available. There are many projects are available in GitHub. And if you have any specific problem in your code and if you want to get it done, yes, you can ask jigs for gigs, a Stack Overflow. You can ask a question over there and people will respond. It need not be an expert, a student who is studying engineering or a postgraduate in some other university, and if you saw his post, yes, he can respond to your post for your question. This is also possible. So please use this opportunity instead of spending your time on social media and all other places. Please discuss, see all the forums and activities in the forums. It will help you a lot. It can increase your caliber a lot, and you can learn a lot in these forums. So I urge you, all of you, to use these forums. At least you follow any of these four and then pitch your problem there and see who is giving a solution to your problem.